With March Madness inching closer and closer each week, there are teams that are bound to make an appearance and some teams that may be on the bubble heading into Selection Sunday in just a few weeks. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Brendan Conroy, joined by Andrew Kalb and Carlos Garcia with their takes on which teams are safe and which teams may be biting their fingernails as we approach Selection Sunday. Which team stood out to you guys the most after this past weekend's games?
Yeah, the team that had to stand out to me the most after this past weekend's games has got to be Michigan. They caught my eye last weekend, having that huge comeback at Wisconsin, coming off of a long COVID pause, but going to Columbus, winning there for the first time in almost 7 years, beating a top 5 team like Ohio State, who's presumably going to be a #1 seed as well. They have star players like Hunter Dickinson, and then they have Shawn D. Brown off the bench. This team is just playing at the pace that you want to see a team playing at this time of year. The whole season it's been Gonzaga and Baylor at the top, but I think it's time to say it's Gonzaga, Baylor, and Michigan.
Well, the team that stood out to me this week was definitely Duke. I mean, they're coming off they're on a 3-game win streak right now. They're sitting at 10-8, and I think they can definitely make waves in terms of the tournament and the seeding because this team's clicking at all the right times. Matthew Hurt, he's going off. He's being that star power on offense and even on defense. So I think Duke definitely impressed this week.
Are there any teams that we are used to seeing in the tournament in other years that we will not be seeing this year?
Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be close with North Carolina. Right now, they're one of the last 4 teams to get into the tournament, and they're fringy. They're 14-7, a pretty good record, but they haven't beat any top or ranked opponents this year. They've lost to guys like Iowa and even Virginia, so I don't think they have that good quality win. I think if they can get a quality win this week, right in time before the tournament, or even make waves in the ACC tournament, I think they're good and they can get in.
Yeah, talking about blue bloods that aren't going to make the tournament this year, Kentucky has just had a terrible season. Since the beginning of the season, they just have not had the talent that you're used to seeing from a Calipari team. There's no John Wall, there's no Karl-Anthony Towns, there's no Anthony Davis on this team. They've had shooting problems all season. They got a big win at Tennessee on Saturday, but it's just not enough. It's too little too late for the Wildcats. They need to make a run in the SEC tournament and probably win the whole thing to get that automatic qualifier if they want any chance at March Madness.
Which teams are the front runners heading into this week of games and to the tournament as well?
When you're talking about front runners, I got to talk about Gonzaga. In my opinion, I think this is Mark Few's best team at Gonzaga, and that's saying a lot for the teams they've had in the past. Going to the national championship only like a few years ago with Nigel Williams-Goss, losing to North Carolina. You have 2 top 10 players in Jalen Suggs and Corey Kispert. This team can do whatever they want on offense. They're beating teams by 40, 50 points every day. But the thing that really stands out to me that can worry me about this team is their level of competition. Like I said, they're blowing out teams left and right, but I don't know how that's going to hold up for them when they get to the tournament. Teams like Baylor and Michigan are playing top-tier competition every week. This team might be strolling into the tournament ready to beat a team by 50, but that's just not going to happen. But I have trust in Mark Few to coach these guys up and get them prepared for the tournament.
Yeah, definitely for me, it's got to be the #2 team, Baylor. Right now, out of their 16 wins, they're undefeated. 14 of them have come by double-digit points. And unlike Gonzaga, they've had wins against quality, top-ranked opponents. So I don't see any issue with this team at all. I think they're heading on the right path and are going to definitely make it to the championship game.
Heading into another week of college basketball, which games are the most important for the teams on the bubble this upcoming week?
I got to come right back to them, Duke. I mean, I think they have 4 more games and they end out their season at UNC. I think if they can win out and even make waves in the ACC tournament, they don't even have to win. They just have to get to the 3rd round, maybe to the championship game. But I seriously think this team needs to win out because if not, it's looking like another disappointing year for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, it's been a good couple of days for Duke going on that big win streak. But I think the game that stands out to me this week, it's the last couple of weeks of February. It's always the most important time in the world of college basketball. Teams are fighting for their lives on the bubble, trying to get in the big dance. It's Indiana heading to Rutgers on Wednesday night. An unranked matchup that might not stand out to everybody, but this game has huge circumstances. Both of them are on the bubble. They just had terrible home losses this past weekend. They need this win. Whoever wins this game is going to have an easy path to the tournament. But if they lose, you don't want to go into the Big Ten tournament with such a strong conference this season, fighting for your life on the bubble. You need this win if you're both of these teams.
If your team is on the bubble for the upcoming weeks heading into March Madness, you better hope they do enough to punch their ticket into the big dance. For Andrew Kalb and Carlos Garcia, I'm Brendan Conroy. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time on Penn State Sports Night.
Thank you for watching this edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also, follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.